In Ontario, we do not have an evidence-based system that is concerned with youth outcomes after care. So it's that whole period somewhere between 16 to 21 where I'm looking at what kinds of programs are being implemented that help youth with the transition, but not just identifying what the programs are, but what are their actual impact on the youth outcomes afterward.
I'm kind of looking at your list of the poor outcomes.
Yeah.
The health and mental health outcomes, I guess, is the one that's missing.
Yeah, actually, I would suggest, like, one of my recommendations out of this report would be based on the outcome studies. They're finding that youth who have been in foster care have double the rates of PTSD than some war veterans. When you see data like that and we don't have a response to it in the field, then that's a massive gap. When I started the research, I genuinely believed that the results would be mixed because I had an in-care experience and my life doesn't look as the research shows that it should. I've looked at 4 different countries. I looked at USA, Canada, Australia, UK, and the findings were the same. Some of the research went back 40 years. I've decided to make a commitment to doing what I can so that the conversation is different. Like, hey, this program works better than that program. That's the conversation I want to be having. And right now, we just keep saying the same things. Youth in care don't do well. Like most foster kids, when I was 10 or 11, I fully wanted to reconnect with my biological family. By the time I was 12, I had contacted my bio father in Germany, and I was like, can I please live with you? And he just directly said, absolutely not. I definitely needed to go through that. That really made it clear to me that I was going to have to rely on myself going forward.
Jane was originally apprehended at 6, becoming a Crown Ward at 12. At 16, she exited the foster care system with the intent of creating her own degree of independence. Jane has an undergraduate degree in psychology at Laurentian and has a master's in economics and human rights. Jane has gone on to pursue her PhD studies. We would coin Jane as one of our success stories.
So at 16, I dropped out of high school, like 56% of Crown Wards in Ontario. Homelessness is another one I hit. I wasn't homeless, but I certainly had housing instability. So the only thing I represent is that your outcomes don't have to stay that way. Everyone can succeed. And it doesn't have to stay as bleak as this.
When he turned 16, his work is saying, you know that you can have independent living now.
I know.
So they're almost telling him, it's over for you. And we're saying, no, this is your home.
That's right. That's kind of the part that was difficult for me, is because I didn't feel like there was a fallback.
Did you ever get into drugs at all? Because so many of our kids that have launched on, that's where they get sucked in and they're gone. Like, they're never going to be where you are.
They can be still. But they really...
No, she really won't be. She's in jail right now. So yeah, you give me hope for others, but not for mine. But yeah, like you didn't go down the drug path, I guess.
I didn't. I don't know why I didn't, because the pressure was there.
What supports did you have from the time you were 16 to help you get through that?
I didn't, honestly. You know how they say you need at least 1 or 2 or 3 phone calls you can make if you're in trouble when you leave care? Like, at that time, I certainly didn't feel I had, like,
foster mom and dad were not a fallback for you?
It wasn't their fault. You sort of internalize aloneness, right? And it's reinforced constantly.
Because when you're telling you, 16, it's done.
And they call it independent living, too. Like, there is a whole academic literature that talks about how we should change the language and start calling it interdependent living. So I incorporated a not-for-profit called the Child Welfare PAC. It's intended to deal with change at the legislative level. If there's almost 90,000 people like me out there, then shouldn't we have a pressure group, right? Every single politician owns the child welfare system, and they're the ones with the power to change it.
Okay, go.
Do I smile for this? Can you smile?
Yeah, because this is to get MPPs to talk to you, right? Yeah, so.
I spent about 5 years in foster care, and now I'm a ministry spokeswoman for the Ontario government. You can make it through, and I think we're living proof of that.
I think that background's beautiful.
I do have lived experience in care. Now I'm working as a lawyer. I'm really passionate about using my voice to advocate for youth like me.
There's never been an Ontario initiative that's mobilized people with lived experience after about age 30. This is the first time that's ever happened.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I brought my own.
I've been a known advocate for children and youth in the child welfare system for quite some time now, using my story to really hopefully create change.
In Ontario alone, there's at least 90,000 former Crown wards, and our society doesn't engage them to come together and contribute back to the system that raised them. Awesome. So you have to send me that, and then we'll tweet it too.
Around like a rock star here.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. We're a group of people who are resilient. We grew up in the system, and despite the system, we beat the odds. And we came together to share our voice about how to redesign child welfare so that youth can succeed after care. I am excited about the fact that our initiative has caught the attention of the Ontario Premier's office. Similarly, we have the Minister of Child and Youth Services, but every MPP has the opportunity to make change, so to me, they're all important.
And I just want to say thank you to you and everyone who's here because they're driven to help young people. There's no question in my mind if you had to pick any issue to remove the partisanship, it is when it's when it comes to our children, right? So I'll make a commitment today that we will work together to achieve those goals and those outcomes for young people.
Oh my Lord, I love it.
I found it.
Hey, who knocks? What a weirdo.
Who knocks?
Hello.
Hello.
You see you. It's been a while.
I have many people who have become my family, and they're all totally integral to my success. Without the people who I have around me, I wouldn't be able to do half of what I do. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna sit down then and have cheese. Well, cheese. Spanish cheese, and then there's going to be all the other courses. So.
Yeah. Depends. I've seen them. Jane invited us all here because we're all close friends of hers, and I think she somehow is misguided enough to think that she owes us all something. And but thank you, Jane, so much for putting on a wonderful dinner. I know you've been planning this for months and months and months. You mean as much to us as we mean to you, just so you know. And we all appreciate being here tonight. So thank you very much, and can't wait to get going on this good grub.
To Jane.
Some of it to Jane.
Thanks, guys.